Okay, let's talk about something that's changing the game. Forget about just searching for keywords in a PDF. We're now in an era where AI can actually read, understand, and even reason with your documents. We're talking complex research papers, scribbled handwritten notes, even old blurry maps. Your files, they're no longer just static storage. They're becoming dynamic, interactive sources of knowledge you can talk to.
I mean, just think about it for a second. How many reports, articles, or dense policy documents do you have to wade through every single week? The sheer volume of it all can be completely overwhelming. But what if you could just hand that entire digital stack over to an AI and say, hey, find me the important stuff? Well, that's not science fiction anymore. It's what we're digging into right now.
And this isn't some hypothetical I just made up. This is a real request from a student on Reddit. Look at what they're asking for. They don't just want a quick summary. They're asking an AI to synthesize an entire course from a pile of documents. And they want the final report to be, well, you see the list. Long, rigorous, technical, precise. That is an incredibly high bar, and it's exactly the kind of challenge this new technology has to meet.
So, how on earth is this level of analysis even possible? It's not magic, I promise. It's actually a really clever technique that completely changes how AI interacts with information. So let's pop the hood and see what's going on inside.
The secret sauce here is a technology called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. Now, the easiest way to think about RAG is to imagine an open book exam for the AI. The large language model already has all this general knowledge, right? But with RAG, your documents become the official textbook that it's allowed to reference to answer your specific questions. This is what keeps the answers grounded, super relevant, and totally up to date with your information.
Okay, so if the AI has this open book, how does it know which page to look at? Well, that's where something called semantic search comes in. This is way smarter than a simple keyword search. Instead of just looking for the words sales report, it understands the meaning and the context behind your question. It's looking for parts of your document that are conceptually related to what you're asking, making sure you get the most relevant info, not just a random hit.
And this diagram here, well, it brings those two ideas together. I know it might look a little technical, but the core idea is really simple. Your question doesn't go straight to the AI brain. First, the system uses that smart semantic search to pull out the most relevant little chunks of information from your documents. Then, it bundles that info together with your original question, giving the AI the exact context it needs to give you a great answer.
So let's just break that down one more time, nice and simple. You ask a question. The system then searches through your files, looking for the most relevant context. It grabs that context, packages it up with your question, and only then does it send the whole thing to the large language model. The AI uses that specific information to build its answer. It's a really elegant and frankly super effective workflow. All right, now that we get the tech, let's see how it plays out in the real world. Of course, the two heavyweights in this space right now are ChatGPT and Gemini. People are putting them through their paces, and what they're finding reveals some really fascinating differences between the two. What's really interesting here is they almost have different personalities. ChatGPT acts more like a curious human researcher. It'll start by asking you some clarifying questions, and as it works, it might go off on interesting little tangents it discovers along the way. Gemini, on the other hand, is more like a meticulous project manager. It gives you a detailed research plan right at the start, and then it pretty much sticks to that plan. And this difference shows up in the final product, too. Users are finding that Gemini's output is clean and ready for Google Docs, while ChatGPT's often needs a bit of manual cleanup.
And this quote from a user just nails it. You know, at the end of the day, it's not always about which AI is technically smarter. A lot of the time, it comes down to the usability of what it gives you. As this person points out, being able to just click a button and open a perfectly formatted report in Google Docs, that's a huge deal. It saves time, it saves frustration. Sometimes the simple, practical stuff makes all the difference.
But this technology is not just for students and office workers. No, it's being deployed on a massive scale to solve problems that have been around for decades. Let's look at a pretty groundbreaking example from the UK government that shows just how transformative this can really be.
Get this. A professional city planner can take up to 2 hours to digitize a single complex planning document. The UK government's new AI tool, which is powered by Gemini, does the same job in 40 seconds. That is not just a small improvement. That's a complete revolution for a critical government process. So, how in the world does it do that? Well, it's Gemini's multimodal abilities that are the real key. It's not just reading text, it is visually interpreting old, blurry maps, it's understanding handwritten notes, it's extracting complex shapes. It can even identify landmarks on those old maps to translate them into modern digital coordinates. It's reading the entire document, the images, the text, the scribbles, everything, as one cohesive piece of information. So, we've seen the power. Now, how can you actually get the best results when you use these tools? Because here's the thing, the quality of the AI's output is directly linked to the quality of your input. So here's how you can prep your documents to really unlock the AI's full potential.
Honestly, the best way to think about it is like you're preparing study notes for an AI student. This guidance from AWS makes a ton of sense. Simple things make a huge difference. Use clear, logical headings. If you have a super complex table, try breaking it down into a simple bulleted list. Define any company jargon or abbreviations. Basically, the more structured and clear your document is for a human to read, the better the AI will be able to understand and analyze it. Okay, with all this incredible power comes a very, very important responsibility. Before you get too excited and start uploading every single file on your computer, there's a serious point we really have to address. And this right here is the vital takeaway. Do not upload sensitive, private, or confidential information to these public AI models. The data you give them can be used to train future versions of the model. So for your personal notes or for public information, they're fantastic tools. But for proprietary company data, for personal secrets, you have to be extremely careful.
You know, when you step back, it's kind of amazing. We have gone from searching for words to having actual conversations with our documents. AI is learning to read and reason about our collective knowledge in this profoundly new way. And as this technology keeps evolving, it really makes you wonder, what are the most important things we should teach it to understand for us next?